lot of paint on my hands. Just this one. I was looking at my videos and I don't know why I clap so much, first of all. Anyways, I was looking at my videos and I realized that I don't have a whole lot of clusters of flowers that are set ready for you to make. Now I do a lot of pieces, which are fine. However, I wanted to give you guys something else to paint that you can just look at it. You don't have to do any creative thinking. It's all ready to go. That's why we're going to paint this today. I'm going to title this The Lemonade Stand because I just thought lemons. We're gonna do that. It's got some nice coral and peach and yellow, and that's what we're gonna do today. Let's go paint. Now I don't normally do this with my paintings beforehand, but today for the sake of the tutorial, I am sketching out my layout for my cluster of flowers. So as you can see, I have a center flower and I have flowers extending outwards from the center, as well as some leaves throughout my design. If you want to, at the end of this little sketch, you can take a screenshot so you have some direction for your painting. I'm diving right in with this khaki beige color to create our first flower. I'm using a round tip brush number 4. I just bought it at my local craft store. For this flower, we are going to start at the outer edge of our petals and working our way inwards. As you get to the center of the flower, you want to taper down on your petals. While my paint is still wet, I'm going in with some white and blending it into the petals. If you have too strong of a white, you can add a little bit of beige and just go back and forth, beige to white, beige to white. Following the arrows, I'm creating another one of these flowers. Once again, working from the outer edge to the center of our flower. Here I am adding that white and beige back and forth, blending it. Once this dried up a little bit, I added some of the original khaki color to create another layer of depth on this flower. Here I created this shade by mixing red with yellow. From there I grabbed a little bit of my red and yellow and added in some white off on the side of my palette. Now following my pattern for my design, I'm creating a flower facing downwards. And here I'm showing you a close-up that I start with the tip of my brush and then I apply pressure as I come out to the edge. If you have some rough edges, you can just play with that to round them off. As I create this whole painting, I do want to point out that I'm working in layers, so I'm working as my paint dries. I'll be returning back to these flowers as we go. But here I am adding in some even lighter peachish pink color, and then a little bit of that dark coral we originally started with while blending it in with the light pink. So now I'm returning back to our first flower using a little bit of a light khaki color by mixing in some white to add depth and layers. Going back to that dark coral color, I'm going to make this fun flower. You're going to create some curved, thin brush strokes, and it's kind of the shape of an umbrella. Here, none of the lines have to be the exact length because we're going to create another layer on top of these, but this is just our first layer. Now I mixed in a little bit of that light pink color to our coral, and I'm adding a smaller layer. It's like a mini umbrella. So here I'm going in with straight up white and I'm making curved lines starting from the center and just feathering them out as I go. Here I'm making it appear that the white feathered look is hidden, tucked away behind that one layer of petals. Now I'm going in with some of that khaki color to add depth and highlights. Next we're going with primary yellow back to our fun little umbrella flowers, creating scattered random sized dots following the edge of our brush strokes. Now I'm going in with a second layer of dots on the base of the flower, and this is just to give it a little fun effect. Following the same pattern with this little bud next to it. This color is an olive green color, and I'm using it for the stem of our pink flowers, just creating a slightly curved line going towards the center of our cluster. I'm repeating the same idea with the second flower, and we'll add some leaves in a minute. Now I'm mixing primary yellow with that olive green, and this is gonna make a light, vibrant green. I'm using this for the stem of our happy flowers. I decided to use the same shade of green to create some thick, large leaves, and here I'm using my rounded tip brush. I didn't want to get too close to the edge of the flower with this green color and such a large brush, so later on I went back in with my fine tip brush to clean up the details. This is the olive green color for the pink flowers leaves. A little tip if you have a struggle to make a clean edge, I like to load up the paint on my paintbrush, and it does give a little bit of texture, but I prefer it that way. If you don't want any texture on your design, you can water down your paint a little bit, and you'll just have to create several layers after that to get the right opacity. Now we are going to create a twig of lemons. And first I'm making the stem as well as the leaves. Next I'm adding some highlights to my leaves just by mixing a little bit of yellow with your green. You'll get a lighter shade, or you can add some white if you prefer that too. Next I mixed in a little bit of black to my olive green color, and I'm creating a thin center to each of my leaves. Another little trick to making your leaves, I like to curve the center in the direction that the leaf is pointing. This gives the whole look some more depth, as I so often like to say. With the same color, I blended it in a little bit to my leaves, and if you don't want it so harsh, you can mix in that light green with the dark green back and forth, kind of like our flowers with the beige and white. Here I am making our lemon, and this one I mixed primary yellow with, I believe, some khaki and white. You're just going to make like an egg shape here, and the center needs to be more rounded than the tops, and the top has a little bit of a bump to it. That's pretty much it for the lemons, pretty straightforward. Here I'm adding a highlight by mixing in some cream with light green, just going back and forth, blending that in. I lightened up a little bit of that yellow paint, and I'm adding some highlights to our lemons. I'm topping off the lemons with some primary yellow dots using my fine tip paintbrush. And next I'm going to add a little bit of highlights with some beige. To finish the design, those pencil marks that we originally made, you can just go ahead and erase whatever is showing once it's dry. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful or inspiring, give it a thumbs up, please. Like it and subscribe to it. Until next time, happy painting.